on to Valdez. Navarrete versus Valdez. That's a good segue. Alex, we'll come to you first on this one, mate. I assume that you watched the fight last night. Give us some thoughts and opinions and scores out of 10 or whatever.
Yeah, so coming into the fight, I was watching a lot of the top rank features, and they were really pushing this to be a Mexican war. And we've seen these guys fight, and very good chance these guys are going to go in there. There's going to be blood. I was expecting maybe a knockdown, maybe both guys get knocked down, and I've been on here before and said I'm not a huge fan of Navarrete, but I mean, how many more times can he go in there, beat a dude up, and I not give him credit?
Mm-hmm.
Valdez is a very good fighter. He's been, for the last maybe 4 years, he's been at that championship level. You know, and I expected Valdez to win. That was my prediction, though I knew it was when I came here last time, I picked Navarrete, but actually behind closed doors, I was thinking Valdez. I knew Navarrete was the bigger man, but I believed that Valdez was going to have a possible Burchell moment where he was going to be technically sound when he needed to, counter this guy properly, and he didn't do that. He loaded up. He never could find that shot, and Navarrete he's like a beautiful mess, right? I mean, he's throwing uppercuts from one turnbuckle and hitting you on the other one. He was landing a good right hand over the top. What else? You know, the pace. I mean, I wrote it down here. In the last 3 rounds, he landed 89 out of 300 punches in rounds 10, 11, and 12.
Wow.
That's ridiculous. I
Yes.
think he might have landed more punches than Valdez threw. I gotta look at that because that's actually quite interesting. Oh man, so I kind of I think I provided myself with a bit of a safety by picking that on here, but my money was on Valdez.
Yeah, picking both. That
But
always helps.
yeah, right. How dare I? So it's like, what's next for Navarrete? So Albert Bell just fought on Friday. He's number two, I believe,
Hmm.
in the WBO. They have an in-house with Abraham Nova. We seen him get knocked out by Robisi, and then I, actually it's getting a little bit of traction on Twitter because of a tweet that Shakur let out. Shakur Stevenson. Shakur doesn't have a dance partner. We've seen him get turned down by everybody, it seems, and there's a little bit of a storyline there. The last two weight classes Shakur has been at and vacated, Navarrete came and picked those belts up. They both just fought Oscar Valdez.
Hmm.
Now, when Shakur was at 130, Bob Arum had said, "Listen, there's no reason to unify the whole division. The money's not out there. So with Navarrete, why would we talk about that as well? I know Navarrete is probably going to ask for less money than Shakur, but I mean, like I said, Shakur's missing dance partners. The WBC belt's been freed up at 135. The WBO belt could get freed up as well. So I think there's a real possibility we can see these two match up. And I mean, I got Shakur obviously, but I've overlooked Navarrete before, and he's a serious threat to, I think, anybody because of his style.
Okay, so I think that was some begrudging praise that you've just heaped on him for the last couple of minutes there. Nice work, Josh. Your thoughts on that fight?
Yeah, I like both of these fighters, Navarrete and Valdez. I've always liked Valdez, been in some wars, and I think that shows because you see he swells pretty easily at this point. And of course, by the end of that fight, the right eye was completely shut
Mm.
and bruised red, and he was getting tapped up. It was almost a very different contrast as far as Navarrete, who, while he was tagged at times, really didn't seem to put a dent in him or do anything to truly hurt him in a major way. But you could see the fight on Valdez's face for sure. I think at this point, it's kind of like what Alex was alluding to. I think that peak moment for Valdez was certainly Burchelt in the way that he knocked him out. And I think that is going to be that peak highlight for Valdez. At this particular point, I think he's just going to pretty much hover around the 130-pound division and assuming Navarrete moves up and doesn't unify anything, then maybe that's an opportunity for Valdez to step back in there, get a title again. Or if Navarrete stays there, yeah, I think that Valdez is just going to be one of those guys at this point who is a top level guy, but yeah, I just don't know where he fully goes from this point from this point of his career, at least, because I feel like he's too small for 135. At 130, it's going to be still tough, just as it has been, and I doubt he goes back down. So he's in a pretty interesting place. But I called Navarrete the modern day Harry Greb. As they said, Harry Greb stepped in, bounced in and out, threw punches from all angles, all types of crazy punches that are coming from anywhere, technique wise, looked pretty crazy, sloppy or whatever. But Navarrete has made it work. And sometimes you have fighters who really can't adapt and adjust for that type of crazy style. I was thinking about Mayorga being able to defeat Vernon Forrest, and Vernon Forrest, technically sound, just wasn't able to figure out Ricardo Mayorga for some reason, you know. And then we could go on with the triangle theories as far as Vernon. He had Shane Mosley's number, so on and so forth, you know. But it's an interesting thing there with Navarrete. Him and Shakur Stevenson, I too favor Shakur Stevenson, but what if it's one of those situations there, Alex, sort of like a Mayorga or Vernon Forrest or something, where he just has too crazy a style that it just works out for him? But no, I'm going with Shakur because I feel like he's generational talent. And I would love to see that one. I wasn't thinking about that one in particular, but Navarrete, he looks like he can carry 135 for sure. So maybe that's the best move, at least for the biggest fights, because yeah, I don't feel there's much there for him at 130, and he could definitely generate even a lot more buzz at 135, I believe, considering there are some names around there beyond just Shakur even, you know. Just think about some others who are there. So that's my thought on it, but good fight. Some people are saying fight of the year. I didn't think it was a fight of the year. I think it was a very good fight. That being said, you know, they were also talking rematch. Yeah, I'll watch it again. It was fun. But that being said, I don't think it's necessarily needed. So Navarrete, Shakur Stevenson, if they can make that happen, I'm with you there. Let's do it.
Yeah, I saw quite a lot of good, good praise on Twitter, but it was a good fight. It might not have been that close to warrant the rematch, but a good fight nonetheless, which is all we could ask for. Two Mexican warriors. Excuse me. Didn't quite live up to Morales Barrera, but then what really can.